Good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharp. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now. I tell you, I am so inspired. Today, we have two more notable approvals. We got an asylum work permit approval in less than 8 days. It took 8 days to approve that asylum work permit, and we got an I-601A waiver approved. Now, the I-601A waiver is a type of waiver that one can apply for if they're here in the U.S. They don't qualify to get the green card while being here, and they have a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident that will experience extreme hardship if they have to leave. The way it works is if the waiver is approved, or in this case, when the waiver is approved, the individual can go back to their country, go to the interview to get the green card, and they will not hold the overstay against them. They will be able to come back into the United States and become a green card holder immediately after re-entering the US. So this is where our clients will be able to now get the green card, an option that she had previously thought she could not qualify for. So this is amazing news that we have found an avenue for our client to get the green card when she thought she was not going to be able to get that green card. The other was the asylum that we got in 8 days. It took 8 days to approve that work permit. So this is and it's so important I share this with you because I want you to know that they are still processing forms of relief, green card applications, asylum. So make sure that you are on top of it. You're taking action to seek protection. Our clients certainly did. And now, because of that, they are going to be safe. So we're just so happy here in the office that our hard work is coming to fruition. Our clients, even during this time that's scary, there's a lot of horrific things happening right now. There are people being detained in horrific conditions, and we at the law office are trying to find solutions to ensure that our clients are safe. And of course, we do have to look at the fact at ways to stop this from happening. People are being locked up. These are hard-working immigrants that are being locked up, subjected to extreme conditions. For example, in this camp down in Florida, the alligator Alcatraz, as they call it, there are over 700 people there. We just found out that there was a 15-year-old that was detained during a traffic stop. So horrific things are happening. And that's why when we are able to obtain this relief legally for our clients, it means that our clients are safe while they move forward in their process. And that is very invaluable during this time. Things are harder, yes, but I want you to know that there are avenues. And there are a lot of people that don't want you to believe that there are avenues. And this is where it's very important to understand that you can empower yourselves. We can assist you to do that. Just go ahead and make sure you're contacting us so we can talk to you, because the only way we're going to be able to help you is to talk to you, determine you qualify, and get started on your process ASAP. All right, so I don't want to spend too much more time. I do want to mention one thing. So we've had great success with T visas. We have T visa approvals where our clients that were approved for T visas, their relatives were also approved for visas at the embassies in their country. And that means that they are going to be here in the US. They're joining their family members here. So I want you to know that this T visa that we work with our clients to obtain when they qualify, it's not only for the people who are trafficked, but also their relatives. Their relatives also are able to obtain status and join their relatives here. And that's what's happening is they are joining. And guys, even in this situation, our clients were still approved to come to the United States to join their family here in the US under protected status because they endured our client who is here in the US endured a situation where an employer promised that he was going to get him his papers. It was a lie. And it turned out that the employer only told that lie to get him to work. Had he not told him that lie, he would have never agreed to do the kind of work that this employer forced him to do with that lie. And that is called labor trafficking. So you learn something new here, right? Labor trafficking is not only just being locked up somewhere and being forced to do sex acts, as we see that's often covered in the media, but that is not the only form of trafficking. So our client was approved for status here. It has a 4-year work permit. And then my client's spouse and child were also approved to come in with a visa to be reunified. And this is a situation where he was injured on the job, no help, no way to get medical help. He was here at a dead end, not knowing how he was going to fix his situation, not having much to go back to in his country because there's nothing there. That's why he took the chance to come here with that employer's promise and came to us after seeing other lawyers who said there was no way he could get status here, especially since he was already married. Because most lawyers will say things like, go find yourself a husband or a wife to get your papers. So that's what my client faced. A lot of the lawyers saying, well, you're married, there's no other option for you here. Well, we were able to listen. And that's the difference between us and a majority of others is that we listen to our clients, we listen to what they've been through, and then we know the law, and so we can listen to what they've been through and be able to say, okay, under the law, you qualify for this relief. But unfortunately, that's something that not a lot of attorneys do. And this kind of relief, not a lot of attorneys work on. We are a rare breed of attorneys that work on the T visas. So go ahead and give us a call. We're 24/7. Now is the time, guys, and our schedule is filling up fast. So I want you to be able to get on it and get the opportunities because things might change in the future. As a matter of fact, we know it's going to change. But as you can see, even under this administration, our clients are getting the relief because it's written in the law. But where we will have issues is if the law changes in the future, anybody who has not applied will not be protected anymore, could potentially miss out on these opportunities. And I've been saying this for 2 years, guys, because a piece of me knew that we could be in this position. I was hoping not, but we are in this situation now. So it's important to take action. We're a safe space. Call us, talk to us, and let us determine whether you qualify and let us fight for you because our clients are winning here. I have a whole stack of papers here showing the approval correspondence of my clients just this week alone. So, all right. So now let us go to questions. I'm going to go ahead and answer questions. I'm going to start with TikTok today, and then we move on to Instagram and also YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Hi there. What's the T visa waiting period now? So 18 months to, I would say 18 months or more. Hi there, Anix. It's nice to see you. All right. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate VAWA applied in January 2023. PF, no RFE. How and PF means prima facie, no RFE. How long for approval? You're looking at about 3 years or a little over 3 years. What is your number? Number is 561-405-4889. I have to figure out a way to get it on the screen so you can see it. But you also, if you follow me, you check out my videos, you will see the number on the videos as well. Hi there. Hi, good night. What if T visa is denied? Will I be deported? So, under this administration, what happens is they have a blanket policy. This policy is happening to everybody. And so they are saying if there is a denial, that they will issue a notice to appear. That's a blanket policy. This is not targeted to any one person, it is across the board. So we are seeing people who apply for extraordinary ability green cards, H-1Bs, getting notices to appear now. It even people who are denied citizenship in some cases, getting detained and notices to appear. So this is across the board. I don't know how they are going to deal with the volume of individuals that they where they deny, they send us notice to appear, but that is happening. But this is where it's very important to contact us, talk to us about your chances, talk to us about what's going on, and then we can tell you what the pros, the cons are. But here's my 2 cents on this, guys. Right now, if you qualify for protection, you should be applying because you are putting yourself in a worse situation if you do not seek out that relief that you legally qualify for. You sit and wait in the shadows, and then when you end up being vulnerable, right? If you're picked up, you have nothing pending, you're picked up by ICE, it means that they can have an easier time to remove you because one, if you're subject to expedited removal, that means that within 48 hours they could have you on a plane and out of the country. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court has made it a lot easier for them to do that with very little notice. The other is you could remain detained. If you can't show that you have a process pending, for example, then you may not have a chance to apply for bond. And bond allows you to be released. And then when you have a process pending, it can also help you to terminate any kind of proceedings against you. So I would say this when choosing between hiding in the shadows or I'm not saying go apply for anything for applying for anything's sake. I definitely don't say, I'm not saying that. Nobody, you should not be applying if you don't qualify for something. But if you qualify for something, you should pursue it because you have a potential legal right to obtain relief and protection here, and you would be giving yourself the best chance. So but here's what I say. You don't have to make any decisions now either. What I say is call us, talk to us in a strategy session, and then we'll be able to advise you specifically. These clients who are getting approved, they were once in your situation where they had to make that decision as well, whether to move forward or not. And what would happen if they did not? What would happen if they did? And as you can see, they came out on the other side, they came out on the winning side. So I can tell you that it's worth it, but you have to reach out and get assistance and then make a decision then. But reach out. We're a safe place to be able to talk to you. So reach out. Let's talk first and determine whether you qualify and get started ASAP. All right. I have DACA AP with a US citizen daughter. How is the process? Is it long? So now, if you have a US citizen daughter, 21 or older, I mean, you have DACA. I'm not sure how old your daughter is, but if your daughter is qualified to sponsor you, then at that point, it shouldn't take too long. I would say a year to a year and a half. If your daughter is under 21, you'd have to wait until they're 21 for you to be able to get sponsored with that AP if you traveled and came back in. Can I marry a green card holder and not going home back? It depends. It in some cases, but you have to be extremely careful. If you're married to a green card holder, you need to understand the timing. Your priority date has to become current. You have to maintain your visa status all at the same time. And of course, while you're doing that, you have to submit the paperwork before you end up overstaying your visa. So, in cases where you're married to a permanent resident, before you do anything, before you make any decisions to stay, get legal advice because it can end disastrously if you if you don't make sure that you have the right guidance going through it and the right timing. Good evening. Thank you so much for your advice last night. We got approved. Yay! And this is for the green card. Congratulations. I'm so glad that you are approved. Congrats. That must be a huge weight on your shoulders. So, off your shoulders, a huge weight off your shoulders. Now, I guess the next thing is you'll be waiting for your green card to come in the mail, and it usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks. So congrats. I'm so glad I was able to provide that information to you as well. Last minute, but I'm glad that it sounded like it at least helped. All right. What kind of people are approved if Dignity Act pass as law? So last night I talked about the Dignity Act, and I really believe that this would be a good solution to stop us from entering an economic disaster, especially in certain industries that depend on immigrant labor. Immigrants who don't have serious criminal record, who have been here residing in the US for 5 years, who pay their taxes, can then get this type of protection from deportation and have permission to work and travel in and out of the country. And it would be about 7 to 10 years long, and it would be a renewable. So renewable, and then I believe check-ins every year or every 2 years. So the main focus would be no criminal record, or no major criminal records. They'll be more specific. If once this goes through the committee, then hopefully Congress and Senate, then and also residing here for 5 years. So right now, that's what we have. Keep in mind that it has to go onto the floor from the committee first, so it's not law yet, and it has to go through a process. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. How long does it take to get decision from AOS interview? So I would say it can take less than 24 hours, but you can be waiting up to 4 months as well. And I've seen people wait longer. Um, Thanks for the love. Thanks for the gifts. I appreciate it. Now, go ahead, make sure you're tapping the screen on TikTok. Share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is how individuals get to see what the information I can offer for empowerment to immigrants in their immigration journey. So make sure you're tapping the screen, you're liking, you're subscribing, you're following, you're hitting the notification bell across the platforms. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm even on Twitch. Can you travel on your work permit within the states? The work permit can be used as identification. Um, so on as notification on I mean, as identification when you're flying inside the States. But keep in mind, always double check with the airline before you travel to make sure you have all the documents you need to travel. And, it also depends on whether your work permit is valid. Don't travel on a work permit that's not valid, especially if you've lost your status or your case has been denied. You want to be careful traveling on that right now. Will tourist visa help with an I-130? No, it depends on the relationship that you're proving. Hi, can I file for asylum being active F1 visa with three dependents? Yes. No, we'd have to determine, it's possible we have to determine your facts to decide whether it's the right step for you. After six steps are approved, how long is the wait for? So I think the I-601A waiver. So you could be right now. I'm seeing a year to a year and a half wait time. Is three It's three DUIs in 22 years bad to renew green card. Whenever you have anything criminal, you were held on criminal offenses like this, you need to make sure you're getting legal advice. We would have to determine how far apart, what were the facts involved? Does it indicate that you have alcoholism that could be a problem? And they do look within 5 years of the citizenship application, but could look beyond as well. For example, in cases like this where there's repeated offenses, especially now. But what I would say here is it could. But go ahead and schedule an appointment with us. Talk to us so we can determine whether how it could affect you. The main the main concern is it deportable? Would you be deportable based on this? Not with one DUI, but we'd have to understand your facts. My cousin has been married 3 years and still hasn't gotten her green card. What might cause that? So I'm not sure if they applied for their papers, what the holdup is. At this point, if it's 3 years, it depends on the processing times. They may be able to either sue for mandamus or go ahead and submit a case inquiry that can give them a little nudge. If I have a 601 waiver approved with the green card, is it possible to apply for citizenship? So the I-601 waiver has to be approved before you get the green card. So if you have the green card, you can move on to citizenship. If you have a green card and you qualify in other ways, the next step is citizenship. So if you have any concerns, you're ready for citizenship, give us a call. We definitely walk our clients through citizenship. What is the approval rate for the T visa? So I have not checked on the approval rating because this is where we have to submit FOIA requests to get that information. I haven't checked since 2025. However, the T visas are being processed as normal. So, and they still are abiding by the policies that have been put in place August 28th, 2024. At a criminal case back in 2018, will it affect me filing for citizenship? We do exactly that, guys. When you have a criminal record, we have to do an extra look at your background. We have to look at your documents. We have to run your background. We have to run a FOIA. We have to do extra research. I would say it's required for you to take those steps before filing for citizenship. So get in touch with us. We take that first step for you. We review everything and then we can advise you on how to move forward, whether there are risks. Um, a nice hairstyle are the braids. So I am doing sister locks. So the roots are sister locks. I'm very proud of them, by the way. So I had to talk about them for a quick minute. If someone came on a visitor's visa and they overstayed, can they apply for a work permit? Not just like that. We do help clients who have overstayed, but they have to be facing some kind of circumstances to be able to apply for a relief that gets them the work permit at the same time. If you've overstayed, if you've entered the country without permission, this is where you need to contact us. There are multiple ways to get relief, but we have to understand what your circumstances are to be able to tell you which one is best for you. After the 6 steps are approved, okay, so answer that. If married with granted asylum, can I give papers to my partner when I file for green card? So if you are married and you get granted asylum, your spouse, you can file papers for your spouse to then come, if they're outside of the country, come into the country and join you here as an asylee. So that should be the first step. Then they can apply for their green card with you. Okay. All right. So now I'm on Instagram. Thanks so much for your patience. Let's go ahead and answer. My mother's 78 to become a citizen. Does she still have to take a test? So I'd have to look at the specific rules. There are certain rules that says if you're a certain age, and you've been here for a certain number of years, then you get an easier test. So I would have to check on that. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I know that there is that rule, but I would have to figure out how long she's been in the country for. And of course, her age is 78, but how long has she been in the country? Is USVI considered a domestic travel and a valid EAD permit to come back to mainland US? Hmm. So it is considered a territory. It is like traveling domestically, but keep in mind that it's off the mainland. So, say something happens and you're diverted to another country and you do not have a travel document, you could find yourself in big trouble there. So, there are certain risks with traveling off the mainland, is that if something happens and you're diverted to another country, I mean, it's unlikely that that's a worst case scenario, though. Then you could find yourself stuck, right? And if you travel on an EAD, and yeah, if you travel to that country on an EAD, you should be fine. But my thing is just the risk of just risk being off the mainland. There are certain risks. How can we check to see if our work permit is valid? So if your case was not denied, it should still be valid. Usually it will not be valid if you were denied. Can you please help me applying pending asylum work permit? Definitely give us a call, talk to us, and then we can definitely move forward. Are you taking questions? Yes, yes, yes. Put those questions in the comments. Is it safe to waive my husband if I was abused? I'm so sorry to hear this. I'm not sure what you mean by to waive the husband. Is it if, and I don't know, are you the citizen or resident, or is he the citizen? If you are the citizen, and you're being abused, you need to be safe, and you have to do what you have to do to be safe. And you have every right to terminate the process if he's brutalizing you. If you are the immigrant in this situation, you have every right to pursue a VAWA case, which is confidential. Your spouse won't know you're applying for your own green card based on this. So it just depends on the way you approach it is going to depend on who you are. Are you an immigrant depending on your spouse, or are you the U.S. citizen who is involved? My husband has C11. His I-45 application has been administratively closed, but his I-130 just got approved. He's on removal proceedings and scared to go to an immigration court to have it canceled. I definitely understand, and that's happening. No, there is some hope. There is a lawsuit that has been filed against the administration. to try to stop them from doing this to people, where they're making them come to court. They come willingly, and then they arrest them. Now, if your spouse has removal proceedings, I am not your attorney, I'm not your spouse's attorney. I would not be able to tell you what to do. But I can say this, generally speaking, missing a removal proceeding means that you're risking getting what's called a removal order in absentia. Getting that removal order in absentia means that they are picking him up regardless. They're going to pick him up and deport him immediately because now he has an order in place. Um, in in the other situation, of course, going in and being detained, it's a horrific situation, and it's definitely a very difficult situation to be in. But what I would say here is, while we see people being detained in court, there are ways to get bond to be released by applying for a redetermination hearing by an immigration judge. At that point, they can't just deport you without giving you a process. So, I can't tell you which one to take. I can only say generally, because I don't even know what your circumstances are. But generally, this is the struggle between deciding, should you go to the hearing and risk being detained, or miss it and face a deportation order anyway that will get you out of the country faster without any, real means to fight it. Or you have less of a chance to fight it, and it does come with more severe consequences if you are found removable in absentia, in your absence. But talk to an attorney, talk it through. Let's talk, because sometimes your facts might reveal you. Sometimes your facts may reveal that you may not be at such a high risk that you think you are. For example, they're targeting people who entered the country in the last 2 years for removal. So they are going in and canceling people's cases that they feel are subject to expedited removal. Usually, those people entered within the last 2 years, or were placed in removal proceedings within 2 years of their entry into the US. So I would say just make sure that you are getting legal advice, because just hearing what's happening we could then determine, or an attorney could then determine the level of risk. Can I apply for T visa if abuse at work, which happened 4 years ago, and manager who did work labor trafficking got fired already? Yes. Now, this could have happened to you 50 years ago. You could still apply for this. So there is no statute of limitations or deadline for the T visa. Just do it as soon as you know that you can do it, because a lot of it depends on your memory, and not so much. They depend on your statement, your memory, the detail you provide, the quality of information you provide. So this is where it's very important to talk to us and get started. Absolutely. I have gotten this relief for clients that have faced this type of trafficking 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. Can I travel to San Francisco with Nigeria passport for an ID? Well, keep in mind that I can't tell you specifically what to do, but if you've overstayed your visa, you don't have a valid visa, and while you're in the country, that's definitely a high risk. Having a Nigeria passport could create alarm bells for the officers to check further. So keep in mind they're pulling people off the street while they're walking their dog. So if you're in an airport, you've overstayed your visa and you're presenting a foreign passport, then can you imagine the level of risk if they're going and pulling people out of traffic stops that far from an airport and pulling people off the street? I just saw on the news they pulled a green card holder who's been here for 40 years off the street while he was walking his dog because I believe he's Iranian, of Iranian descent. So, that goes to show that the airport is definitely going to be a place of heightened risk. When you get work visa in T visa before approved or after, so we are getting T visa work permits while our clients wait for the approval. So that is happening, and it takes a minimum of 6 months to get that once we filed it. Um, has the Dignity Act passed yet? No. And unfortunately, we're not going to see it while we have to show our support for it. We have to spread the word about it to show how it can resolve the problems that the US face while fixing national security, but also not targeting innocent immigrants who are just here working and contributing. What I will say is, it's going to take time, probably a little bit of time to garner support. But here's where I feel the support for this is going to come to fruition, right? Is now we're feeling it. I feel like people did not expect this level of enforcement. They did not expect that a lot of people before the election, even though, I have been saying it, but I've been preaching to the choir because most of you understand that as well, that once this Trump administration took over, they were not going to just target criminals. They kept saying that. And so their supporters kept saying, it's only the bad guys, it's only the criminals, right? So you had a set of people that did not truly understand that this was going to be a widespread enforcement against all immigrants. And it really is targeting all immigrants, legal, undocumented, visas, overstays. They're citizens, people applying for citizens, permanent residents. We're seeing everybody being targeted. So now a lot of people are really understanding the seriousness of this and they want it to stop, right? Those individuals that may not have been extreme, like they may not have been MAGA, and they just thought they were just voting for the economy. Um, they may be in a situation where they may be business owners themselves. They may be people who hired immigrants themselves that are now realizing they're in big trouble, right? Farmers, a lot of farmers supported him and his policies and what he ran on, go figure. Now they're the ones suffering, right? Because their workers are being dragged off the farms. In California, farms are shutting down. Texas, the same thing. So people are starting to realize that, wait a minute, this not only affects them, it's affecting us, it's affecting our families, it's affecting our businesses, our money. And because of that, they may start to lobby for a law like this. So this is where it's important to continue to spread the word about it, to educate people that you know that about this law and how it can fix the immigration crisis, because this Dignity Act also tackles border security. I mean, some of it, I'm sure it's gonna be up for debate and there has to be changes, but it targets border security and at the same time tries to find a way where we're not removing the entire labor force or majority of labor force in some industries for the sake of mass deportation. So over time, we might, through companies losing their workers, losing the bottom line, losing money, they may now start to lobby. And Unfortunately, this is how the world works. Money talks. And if you notice, for example, we're now starting to even hear the Trump talk about, oh, well, we have to find some kind of solution here because farmers are losing money, hotels are losing money. So money talks, and this is where spreading this information about the Dignity Act will be able to help business owners understand that this can be a solution between balancing the our national security, but also making sure immigrants are not being targeted and that they are given the chance to work so they can benefit. All right. Um, if overstayed, married, a permanent resident, how long do you have to file for overstayed who already has a child with the PR? Get in touch with us. You know, if you've already overstayed at that point, it's either going to be an I-601A waiver that you have to apply for, or you have to wait for your permanent resident spouse to become a citizen. But I can't stress enough, it's time to get an attorney involved. Give us a call and we can talk to you about it. My asylum work permit got denied twice. And my wife and sons got approved. What do you think about this? I'm not sure. I'm not your attorney. I don't know your facts, and this sounds very fact specific. Was there any criminal records involved or criminal offenses involved, or was it just the time that you applied for the asylum work permit? So we would have to look at your particular facts. Hi, can I get my dad to the USA after getting T approval? I'm over 21, but my dad is disabled and has no immediate family members to care for him. If you were threatened by the person that did the trafficking, that forced you to do something, and they threatened your parents could come. If there was no such threat against your relative, like your parent, then no, since you're already 21. If you're under 21, then yes. So it depends on your age or if you got any threats. But this is where I say, give us a call and let's talk. If you haven't already filed, you don't already have an attorney, and you haven't already filed. If you have a pending asylum, can you still marry? Yes, that's possible. You can still get married. All right, now I'm on um, YouTube. All right. So I see a lot of questions. Thanks so much for all your questions. I'm going to go ahead and answer. Do current green card holders have to apply and get pre-travel approval authorization before we can travel? To be green card holders don't need a pre-approval. You can use your green card to travel. Hi there, Karen. Is it safe to attend a biometrics appointment? Yes, if you want your benefit, you have to go to your biometrics appointment. Now, is it safe? That is a conversation you need to have with your attorney. But to get to the benefit that you're applying for, you need to attend the biometrics or they're going to deny your benefit. On H-1B visa, lost job, and want to use BFD EAD with pending U visa. And is it recommended to use EAD? Well, it sounds like you may have to. No, I'm not your attorney. I don't know all the facts here. But if you lost your job and you're on H-1B, the grace period has passed and you haven't found another job, then if you have a BFD EAD, that's what it's there for. You would be able to use it. Absolutely, you'd be able to use that as a fallback as long as it's valid and current. How long does it take to get a work permit applying for VAWA? About 6 to 12 months. What is the T visa waiting period? So I would say 18 months, so or a little over 18 months now. Will the new work permit rules apply to T visa 6 months renewal? So right now, no, we haven't seen any changes with that. Can a parole marry, please? Yes, if you were paroled into the country and you get married, then that could be acceptable. It depends on the parole, but if you get the right kind of parole, you can apply for adjustment of status. VAWA EAD renewal did not receive the most recent I-360 receipt notice. Can I just submit the other supporting documents with second prima facie notice? So, this is too specific. I really would have to. This sounds like you should talk to your attorney about that and make sure you're on track with the attorney. What is the processing time for T visa approval, BFD notice at Nebraska Center? So, T visa approval over 18 months, BFD, you're looking at about, I would say it takes 3 months now to even get the receipt notice, another 3 months to get the BFD, so 6 months. I just got approved I-45 and they send me an approval for the I-130, but nothing yet from I-45. It's been 10 days. Is it normal? 10 days is still early. You may get your green card. You may get the notice and the green card soon. I'd say give it 2 to 4 weeks. If you're really concerned about something, give them a call or talk to your attorney if you have one. If your I-45 was approved, you should just be getting, you get the notice in the mail and the green card. My husband had his biometrics appointment. How long does it take for the work permit and social security on T visa? So the work permits, I would say about 6 to 7 months, and then the social security, you'd have to apply for the social security once you get the work permit. Can you file, and that usually takes 2 to 4 weeks. You have to set an appointment at the social security office. Can you file a VAWA after 3 years of my marriage case has been, if my marriage case has been denied? It's possible. Give us a call. Let's talk. The only thing I would say is if you're divorced and you've been divorced for more than 2 years, that cuts off your eligibility for VAWA. If you're still married but you're separated, you can still apply for VAWA. We have gotten this approved for our client even when their marriage-based case was denied because it turned out that denial was as a result of the sabotage, intentional sabotage by the spouse. So give us a call. Let's talk about your situation and figure out what happened. I have an interview in USCIS for green card based marriage. Can I upload more evidence on my case on USCIS website or just bring the evidence to the interview? I would do both. I always take it I always take more steps, right? If you can do more to make sure you succeed, do that. You can upload it and take it with you. Take it with you. So if the officer needs something on the spot, you can provide that to the officer. How long will it take to file the VAWA after the strategy session with you? So it depends on what's going on in your process. We work to get it done as soon as possible under your circumstances. You will, if you've been following me for a while, you hear me say this. I don't run a McDonald's drive-through. That's what makes us a winning firm is we give quality and we make sure our clients' cases. So we do our due diligence, we work as fast as possible, but we make sure the cases are solid. One thing that makes cases fail or make them cause a denial is rushed cases. Not to say I don't move fast, but if there is something we need to slow down on to ensure our clients succeed at the end of the day, we make sure we take that time. So therefore, I can't give you a specific timeline until we talk to you. The company I worked for 2 years never paid us on time and in full. They just closed last week and owe us too much money. Is this a case for a T visa? I'm so sorry you went through that. And I would say this, I can't tell you no because I don't want to give you personalized legal advice, but I'm going to say this. That's definitely a red flag for T visa, a strong indication that you may qualify for the T visa. So this is where you give us a call, because giving us a call could make a difference. They're not paying you on time. They're not paying you in full, but yet you had to keep working for them. They closed down and they still owe you money. We've gotten approvals based on facts like this. So give us a call. You may have a solid case here, but you need to take action now. What is the bona fide for TVs, and what happens if the bona fide um, for the wife is approved, but not for the husband? The wife is the principal. So that means the wife is protected, and we would have to. I don't know what happened with the husband, but if they don't have BFD, it means that they're not gonna have the same level of protection. It could be taking too long. That could be it. Did they outright deny the BFD, or did they? Is it just taking longer? All right. So Annex, definitely we're looking forward to that call. All right, that's going to be it for me tonight. I see a few more questions here. Can someone who got a 212H waiver and green card get US citizenship? Yes, absolutely. You have your green card. You can go for citizenship. No, but keep in mind, if there's something you're worried about, you need to, because I can't give you personalized legal advice because you're not my client. You're not in a consultation with me. But what I would say is you really have doubts here, get in touch with us so we can talk to you about your particular facts. If your crime was waived, before you got the green card, they know about the crime. They gave you the waiver in order for you to get the green card. Then citizenship is going to be the next step, logically. But we want to get more facts. I'm in the U.S., married to a citizen. I applied for adjustment of status since March 2024. Still have no response. Sometimes that can happen. You want to check to see do they have the right address? Make sure that they're corresponding. Make sure they haven't asked anything of you. Contact them. Go ahead and call to find out where your application is. How can one get a work permit without spouse sponsorship and work sponsorship? We do work with options like this. You go ahead, give us a call. There are multiple options, but the only way we can figure that out is to determine what your circumstances are. But it is absolutely possible. I know because we are doing it. And a majority of these approvals that we have here done without the need to get married. As a matter of fact, our clients were married already to non-citizens, and that was not an option for them to go get married to a citizen. And so we were able to find the best solution for them. Now their spouse and children joining them. Um, VAWA approved. What's next? So you're going to get deferred action, your work permit again. You get a 2-year work permit, and then they're going to start processing your green card application. If you haven't applied for your green card, you're going to apply. I'm in USA, married to citizen. I applied for adjustment of status since March 2024. Still have no response. Okay, so I answered that. Good evening. Went to get EAD from T visa. His child should get work permit as well. You can apply for the work permit for the child. So you can. Uh, when can my husband apply for citizenship? He has been in the USA for 2 years and 5 months. So it depends on how he got his green card. So if he wants citizenship, he has to first have his green card first. Um, can I apply a VAWA attorney? Get in touch with us. We assist. These are the cases we work on. When can my husband apply? So I answered that. Is STST Law Office is my firm. Now, I just want to make note here, guys, that there are fraudulent. So I found a whole website. You'll see that I posted it on social media. somebody created a whole website and claimed that I was a partner in that law firm. It is fraudulent. So please do not contact them. The name of this law firm is ST Law Office. The phone number, these are my official platforms. All right. Any other platforms, please make sure you're verifying. If you call the number, make sure it's our official number. Go to the link in this profile. You will be able to go to our website there and submit your information there. Just be very careful. We will never take large chunks of money from you, claiming we're going to work on your case without you first talking to our attorneys here. So if they're asking you for money upfront via WhatsApp, be very careful. We don't communicate via WhatsApp. So you can DM us on our official platforms here in order to schedule. We never give advice. We never ask for your big chunks of money. The consultation fees are $150. We charge at $150, and then you will get a confirmation email and a receipt that you have paid. So make sure that you're not falling for those scams, because there are scammers out there that are creating accounts in my name and using my image. And I have reported this, but of course, the response to it is slow. And there's now a whole website out there. So claiming I'm partnered with another lawyer. I am the sole, while we do have lawyers, I have lawyers working for me in the law firm. I am the sole owner, managing attorney of this law firm. So please be mindful of scams and the tips that I've given you. If you want to know if it's a scam, check my social media accounts. You'll see I've listed some of the scammers pages and the website that was created. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for your time tonight. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to work to come on here. I don't have a specific time because, as you can see, we're busy working hard so we can get these wins for our clients. And so sometimes it means that my hours are not very regular. But I do hop on here all hours of the day, as you can see, because it's bedtime and I am on here. So like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell so that you can see when I come on. You'll get notification. You can join me if you're available, and also make sure that you share this information, share the live, share the videos, because that's how other immigrants and other people who are going through their immigration journey can get information that empowers them. Thank you again for your time, and it gives me such joy to share with you the approvals and the victories that we've gotten on behalf of our clients, especially during these times when we do need to have a lighthouse of hope. We're that lighthouse. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and hopefully I can hop on again tomorrow. Bye bye.